Well, 3% of the total electorate in the country this time is between 18 and 19 years of age. All of them first-time voters, many of whom will be casting their votes on the 10th of April, the crucial third phase. Delhi will also be polling on that day. NDTV's Kashish catches up with some of these young voters.
My first vote. My first vote.
My first vote.
Hello and welcome. You're watching My First Vote. Now, half the country's population is now under the age of 25 and many of them are actually first-time voters. Here in Delhi itself, there are going to be 3.5 lakh youth votes cast on the 10th of April when the capital goes to vote. But what are these guys really thinking? What is it that they'll keep in mind when they go out and press the button for the political party of their choice? That's what we need to understand. Never before has an Indian election been so presidential style, so personality driven. But is that what's grabbing the youth? That's going to be my first question. Sania, what do you think of the campaigning this time?
I think what's different about this campaign is that there are just so many different platforms on which it's being fought. So the online world is obviously playing a much bigger role, and I don't think the parties can ignore that, given that the youth vote is such a huge population of the youth is going to vote this time. But I think when it comes to the substance of the actual campaigning, it is definitely very personality driven. A lot of people are talking about criminality, so 30% of sitting MPs have criminal cases against them. Yeah. So, it's important to look at the individual credentials as well.
Many parties are using social media to manipulate votes towards them.
You see all these hoardings and radio ads which obviously cost a lot. They could have put this money in a better way.
ये कहीं से पैसा आ रहा है, लोग इसमें इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं और वो बाद में से रिश्वत के उसके साथ ब्याज के साथ वसूलेंगे.
जब तक करप्शन नहीं जाएगा तब से कुछ नहीं होने वाला.
So you're saying that parties are not serious about tackling corruption?
बहुत चीज़ें बताई हैं, डेवलपमेंट को लेके बहुत चीज़ें बताई हैं, बट हम लोग कैसे विश्वास करें? अभी भी तो पहले भी तो पार्टीज बताती आई हैं सेम चीज़ें, हम कैसे विश्वास करें?
I am totally hopeless this time. I don't have hope in any party.
Why?
Because सब एक दूसरे के पत्ते काटने में लगे हुए हैं. Nobody really cares about what people want. So many problems that I'm so hopeless कि मैं मोदी को करूँ, केजरीवाल को करूँ, कि राहुल को करूँ.
I think the political scenario, like everyone else mentioned, is at this level of hopelessness. If you're not completely sure about anyone at all, it's better not to vote for anyone.
I think, Kashish, a lot of people are mistrusting the execution capabilities of, these governments, because they all come out with their manifestos and they all talk about, okay, we're going to do this for corruption, we're going to bring out these reforms, but the how is sort of still missing. So,
and tell us, what do you think are the key issues that you would like to cast your vote on?
जो मेन इश्यू मैं देखूंगा वो कैंडिडेट देखूंगा कि उसने काम किया है कि नहीं. ये देखूंगा कि वो पार्टी कहीं कम्युनिटी को डिवाइड करने के आधार पे वोट तो नहीं मांग रही.
I think the most important thing is महंगाई.
Financial stability is extremely important. It can be in the form of jobs, and it can be in the form of better governance. It can be in the form of better policies. Which party can actually implement what they say?
मेरे लिए सबसे important point है jobs का.
Such facilities जो है इंडिया में वो अच्छे नहीं है, because of which a lot of people leave the country.
What about women's safety?
I think as a young teenager girl, that is what is most important.
Police reforms, critical police reforms. मतलब we have so outdated laws, 1940 laws governing our day-to-day lives.
पिछले 5 सालों से यूनाइटेड नेशंस की तरफ से बोला जा रहा है कि मिनिमम 5% जीडीपी हेल्थ सेक्टर पे खर्च होने चाहिए, लेकिन वो नहीं हो रहा है.
Especially in Northeast, youth unemployment is the main problem. Like all the policies which are implemented should be like, even in Northeast also we want that.
In my opinion, मुझे लगता है कि अगर मुझे वोट देना है तो मैं उस पार्टी को दूं जिसपे कम से कम क्रिमिनल्स हैं जो कि पार्लियामेंट में ना जा सकें.
The quota system mainly, I want that to be removed.
Okay, so you have a problem with reservation. What are the issues on your mind when you will go and cast your vote?
मैं रिजर्वेशन के अगेंस्ट नहीं हूँ, लेकिन कोई ना कोई पार्टी आगे आए कि बोले कि हम 20 साल में या 10 साल में इसको हटा देंगे.
Inflation right now, the prices are soaring really high and it is very difficult for common man to survive.
Personally, it's about, I don't feel like Modi's worth it. Congress, we've seen that. Moreover, Aam Aadmi Party, we just saw what happened with them. So I would personally vote for Nota.
दिल्ली में बहुत सारे लोगों की थिंकिंग है कि हमने अरविंद केजरीवाल को वोट किया, सीएम बना, छोड़ के चला गया, क्या फ़ायदा, दोबारा से नहीं करेंगे। बट उन्हें रीज़न नहीं पता कि उसने क्यों छोड़ा, बिकॉज वो जन लोकपाल बिल पास करना चाहता था और पार्लियामेंट में मतलब उसे मेजोरिटी नहीं मिली।
किसी पार्टी ने अपने मैनिफेस्टो में कानून व्यवस्था सुधारने की बात नहीं करी है, क्यों नहीं की रही है?
मैनिफेस्टो के लिए ये कहना चाहूँगा कि मैनिफेस्टो जो है उसमें आम जनता की क्या भागीदारी है, आम जनता से क्या पूछ की कितनी चीज़ें उसमें डाली गई हैं, वो तो वही पॉलिसीज हैं जो कि पिछले 10 सालों से बोलते आ रहे हैं कि वो क्या करेंगे।
Even the way I think a lot of parties are using social media is more to sort of propagate an agenda as opposed to really engage with citizens in a more sort of, constructive way.
Is the youth today more engaged with the electoral process, or are they more apathetic than ever before because there is a certain hopelessness as many of the youth have been talking about?
हम ही लोग अगर सोचेंगे तभी पॉलिटिक्स में चेंज आएगा, जैसे अब आ रहा है पिछले 5 सालों में और अब की पॉलिटिक्स में बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क।
हमारी तरफ इन्फॉर्मेशन रखो, अखबार पढ़ो, जहाँ कहीं भी गलती लगे RTI ठोको।
थिंग्स वोट करने से हमारा काम खत्म नहीं होता, हम जो चीज़ें डिमांड करते हैं पार्टी से वो हमें खुद करना चाहिए।
What can we as people do to make sure that our parliamentarians are accountable to us?
How many of us really try and actually engage with our candidates, actually approach our candidates? There are mobile phone apps that actually allow you to call your parliamentarian, but I think there is still an information gap because again, we're talking about the prime ministerial candidate, but we're not really talking about our local candidate.
Yeah. So what is my responsibility? My responsibility is to see whether the manifesto, all the promises which they make are really happening or not.
Somehow I beg to differ with respect to everyone that I don't have the time to get into politics. I don't have the time to put in the work for the public. So I would like to have someone whom I can elect once, and he's going to work for me for the 5 years so that I don't have to see every day that is he working for me, is he accountable to me or not.
Basically saying I want to pick the perfect candidate who is going to make sure that I can go and have sleepless nights and know that he's going to be working for me. On that thought, we will end this My First Vote. But I think one message that's going out to all political parties, at least from the youth here in the capital, if they're going to go out and vote for you, if we're going to give you our precious vote, note that we're also going to hold you accountable.
My first vote. My first vote.
My first vote.